everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to share why I chose speech language pathology, as I'm sure you can tell by the title of this video. I thought it would be helpful to go more in depth into my background and kind of telling you why I chose it and the reasons that I like it over teaching. Everybody who knows me knows I love spending time with kids and teaching them and just helping their little minds grow, and everybody would always tell me, become a teacher, become a teacher. And I was always like, no, I did teaching for a little bit. It wasn't for me. So I'm caught in an action, I can't rewind on. And in my head, I'm screaming, but out of my mind, I'm still too young to feel this way. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell next to it so you can get notifications when I post more videos. And I'll leave the links down below to the rest of my SLP videos. Okay, so let's start with how I even got this idea, because in high school, I knew that I was graduating. I knew that I had to pick something as a career for college to study, and I didn't really have any clue what I wanted to do, and I wasn't really that stressed about it for some reason. I kind of knew just, you know, whatever I was meant to be would happen, and that is really what happened. So in high school, I really not loved English class, but I was good at it, and I'm really good at writing. And I was like, how can I combine writing and English and all of those components with kids, because I know I want to work with kids. And as I said previously, people would say, you know, become a teacher, and I kind of knew that that wasn't the direction I wanted to go in, but I felt like it was the only choice I had to work with kids. You know, in high school, you only know the careers that are like on TV and what people tell you and things like that. So I actually was taking dance lessons in high school. I was taking hip hop classes, and my dance instructor, I found out, was actually an SLP. So we were doing a routine one day, and she stopped, and I don't remember. Oh, we were taking a water break, and she was telling us about this client that she had and how she's an SLP, and I was like, what is that? So I did a little bit more digging, and listening to her story that day was an eye-opener, because I was listening and just really interested in what she was talking about. So I went home, and this was my senior year of high school, and kind of looked more into it. So I decided to apply to colleges that had the Communication Sciences and Disorders program. That's kind of where I got the idea for it. Come to find out, my dance instructor was a full-time SLP, and she had the dance studio. She owned the dance studio on the side and did that for fun in her free time. But I had no clue, and I am just so grateful that I had the opportunity in that one random dance class. She decided to talk about it, because that is what I based my whole life off of now. Anyway, so that's where I kind of got into it, and I'll go into more of the reasons why, but that was my first kind of piece of, okay, I'm gonna check this out. Okay, so getting into more of why I chose speech language pathology over teaching. I did teaching a little bit. I did Jumpstart, which is, I've talked about this briefly in other videos, but it was a program kind of like Head Start, if you're familiar with that. Me and a group of other college students, we went into inner city preschools and supported those children in preparation for kindergarten, and I loved it. I love preschoolers. I love the age, but it was a lot, and all the props to the teachers, because it just wasn't for me. Mostly because I just do like making the one-on-one connection and just building rapport with each student. One of the main reasons that I chose this is because it's one-on-one. A class, the ratio is typically 1 to 20. So one teacher for every 20-ish students, depending on, you know, your district and whatnot. Obviously a little bit different now during COVID, but still it's a 1-to-1 or 1-to-4 ratio, where you sometimes have small groups, but you mostly have one-on-one. And I really like that aspect, where you're really focusing on what that child needs, or what that student, patient, client, whatever you refer to them as, needs, and highlighting and focusing on how you can support them. So I think that's really awesome. Another thing is that each individual person is so different. The variety of aspects and disorders that speech language pathologists cover is insane. So the fact that every single student is so different, and you're really focusing on whatever that is every time, it just makes the day go by so fast, because you're doing so many different things. It's not one of those office jobs where you're doing the same routine every single day and it feels kind of blah. Like, I knew I didn't want to work in just an office doing office work. Okay, so as I kind of touched upon before, I do have a passion for kids. I have no other skill other than that I can spend time with kids and they listen to me, and you know, I can get them to be my best friend. And so obviously this career path, you can do babies, children, young children, older children, adults, or geriatrics. So I like that there's a range, but I definitely want to focus on the pediatric side just because that's my forte. But that is definitely something that drove me towards this career because I have the opportunity to do that. Every child has such a different personality that they bring to the session too, which is awesome. So really interacting with them as a person and seeing kind of what activities they like, you know, what shows or characters do they like, and incorporating that into the session is something I really enjoy. And kind of going along with that, I like the pediatric side just because I can make it into games and little fun arts and crafts while targeting whatever they are working on. So articulation versus language, voice, all of the different areas you can make fun games into, and I really like seeing their excitement and especially their face when they're proud of themselves because they got whatever it is we're working on. And then also I found that I have the patience to work with children with behavioral needs or special needs, things like that. I just feel like I can relate to them, or I don't know, I just get along with them so well, and I have the patience for it. I don't know how, because I feel like I'm the most impatient person in real life, and then with kids I'm like, okay, I have all the patience in the world for whatever you need. So I don't know where that comes from, but I like helping them. I know that especially with some students, they have a hard time expressing themselves. And I feel like if somebody is there to help them get that out, then that is like my calling, you know? So just to help all of these children communicate when they can't, because a lot of times they're acting out because they don't know how to express themselves. So really supporting that aspect is something that I like as well. Even when I heard that there was a service trip to Morocco, I was like, I'm going, I am there, and that was awesome too. Just to work with children with special needs in another country, nonetheless here, it was just so rewarding to see all of them because they have such a personality. I have always said that was the most rewarding thing to see, was just even in another country where I could not understand a thing they were saying because they were speaking another language, I could still feel their personality and see their excitement and what they were trying to tell me just with their eyes and just communicating. There was one little girl that loved playing with my hair. It was so cute. She would get so excited and she would style it for me. But just those kinds of things I feel like are so real and raw because they are not afraid to be who they are, and I love that. So really supporting those children and helping them gain the skills they need to communicate with whoever, with their parents or their teachers or just the world, is amazing. Another reason why I was really interested in this is that it obviously helps people. I feel like a lot of people join this career or choose this career because it's rewarding. You get to help people, and it's different than teaching. You know, they come to you and they have some sort of something they want to work on and improve upon, and you help them get there. To see their progress in my university clinic, we're only with the clients for about 12 to 14 weeks, but even from, you know, week 1 to week 14, it is a huge difference, and it just blows my mind, and it's so awesome to see their progress. So I really like that aspect about it because you're really changing people's lives. Every single time I tell somebody I'm studying, they're always like, oh yeah, I know somebody who's somebody of somebody used an SLP or had an SLP. So it's just so cool that every single person I've talked to always has this connection to it, because it really just shows how much of an influence speech language pathologists have on people, even from a young age to an older age. Okay, another reason is, I guess this isn't a primary reason, but it's one that kind of just made sense, is that there is somebody in my family who is on the autism spectrum, and didn't choose this career because of them, but it just made more sense after I did. Once I started taking classes and really understanding some of the disorder areas, it just made sense, and I just felt like I understood them a lot more and was able to connect with them. Even from a young age, I felt like I was able to connect with them in a different way than most people and understand them and had the patience for it. That's definitely something that I enjoy and that I like applying my studies from, because then I can help facilitate their communication around other people as well. Also that it's in the healthcare field, it just is so interesting because you can work in so many different places and there is always a job for you. I feel like there's such a need for speech language pathologists because they do so many different things and they work in so many different places. It's crazy how many things you can do in this field. So I love that there's so many opportunities and you're not committed to having to do this one job exactly when you come out of college. This is what you're going to be doing, because there's so many different areas. So I like that there's so many different directions I could go in and I get to pick and choose what I like to do. Really kind of looking at a client or a student and seeing what's going on and then finding where they need support is really interesting to me. It's kind of like a little puzzle. And obviously you administer the specific evaluations to figure out exactly what's going on, but developing the plan of care and really accommodating that person and individualizing it is really unique, I feel like, outside of the medical field. Like, yes, it is in the healthcare, but it's different from medical. And I often hear a lot of people change from nursing to this field because it is just different and it more targets the communication or swallowing needs. As much as I mentioned the English portion and the writing portion, I also really love that it's a little bit sciencey. Not a lot of people know that this field is sciencey. Your brain has to coordinate so many different things for speech to come out. And I don't even think I really realized how much coordination and what really encompassed speaking until I started studying it, and I was like, whoa. But it fascinates me. The brain fascinates me. How everything comes together for me to say these words right now fascinates me. So the more I've learned about it, the more I love it too. Anyways, that is a little snapshot into my life and why I chose speech language pathology, especially over teaching. There's just so many rewarding aspects to this field. And I hope that this was helpful for all of you applying to schools and trying to figure out what you want to major in. I would look into communication sciences and disorders just to see if you like it. And if this video kind of sounds like you, definitely check it out because it is well worth it. And I feel like everybody who comes into this really has a passion for it, and we're all so supportive of each other because we have to go through the same process to get where we need to be. So the community is amazing and so supportive. So if you're interested in this field, I definitely recommend checking out ASHA. They can help you kind of dive deeper into what an SLP is and what they do, and kind of just see if it's the right choice for you. They have so many resources on there, and I'll leave the link down below just in case. If any of you guys are SLPs, comment down below and say hi. I would love to get to know you. Or even if you're not an SLP, just say hi in the comments and let me know if you found this video helpful. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!